Hey everybody. So by now we know that we are not going back to school, which is maybe some of you are celebrating, some of you are maybe hiding your tears a little bit, but it is what it is. There's nothing we can really do about it now. I will say that I am a little sad by this. I really feel like this online school is kind of giving me a new perspective on teaching and a much more appreciation for the relationship that I have with you guys. And if there's one thing that I've learned through this whole quarantine is how important it is to have those connections. So personally, I have struggled with being stuck inside and doing kind of the same thing every single day for a while, and I'm not gonna lie, I've called my mom a lot. But I think it's really important that you have those people in your life that you talk to, whether it's your friends, your family, even teachers, whoever it may be. It's just really important to have those people in your life. That way you can get out those feelings that I know are bottled up inside of you, because I have them definitely bottling up inside of me. So I encourage you to reach out to those people when you need it. And I will happily be that person if you don't have anyone else, or if you just miss my face, because I miss yours. And one thing that, after talking with several teachers, that I keep hearing is how, I miss my kids. And when teachers say that, I want you guys to know that it's truly genuine, because we do love you, and you guys are like our other family. And I know that for me especially, I am really saddened by the fact that I can't come and interact with you guys and coach you and do those things for the rest of the school year. So whenever we say that we miss you, it's absolutely 100% true. So again, I hope you guys are doing well in this quarantine and you continue to be safe and healthy, but please know that I do love you and I do miss you, and I'm really sad that I won't get to see your face until August. So have a good week and reach out if you need anything. Okay, so in this section we are going to be factoring trinomials, and I want to take note of this thing that I boxed here, the ax squared plus bx plus c. That's going to be really important for us. So a is the number in front of x squared or b squared or p squared, whatever our squared term is. B is the number in front of the other variable that's not squared. And then c, you can think constant, c constant is the number that does not have a variable. So when we're factoring trinomials, we're going to kind of combine our diamond method problems that you guys did last week with the grouping problems that you guys did the week before. So, which it says right here, to factor, we start by solving diamond problem from each trinomial. So the diamond problem comes from this right here. So a times c, that number is going to go at the top. That's what we're multiplying to. And then b, think b bottom, that's the number that we are adding to. So let's go ahead and look at number 2. And let's start with what our a, b, and c is. So a is the number in front of a squared, which in this problem is going to be 1 since there's no number there. B is going to be -7, and c is going to be 12. So if I go ahead and make a diamond problem, I know that I'm multiplying to this top number, adding to the bottom, and if I look over here, it's a times c. So 1 times 12 is 12. And then on the bottom here is b, which is -7. So since I am multiplying to a positive but adding to a negative, if you remember all of those problems that we did before, the little tricks, when we're multiplying to a positive but adding to a negative, that means both of our numbers are negative. So I'm going to go over here to our factoring sheet, and I found 12 here, and I want to add to -7. So -1 and -12, since both of our numbers are negative, -1 and -12 would make -13, so that's not it. -2 and -6 would make -8, so almost, but not quite. And then we have -3 and -4. That would actually give us -7. So that's what we're going to write here. -3 and -4. Just like in our problems before, it really doesn't matter which number you write where. All right, so we did the diamond problem. That's what we just completed. Now let's talk about how to turn it into a grouping problem. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down this 1a squared. Okay, and then I'm going to put a blank and another blank, and I'm going to rewrite the last term on the end, the plus 12. So now instead of -7, I have 2 blanks to replace it, which, what do you think we're putting in those 2 blanks? Our 2 factors. So -3, -4, and the only other thing you need to remember is to add a variable to it. So -3a, -4a. Now you have a grouping problem because there's 4 terms. So now we need to ask ourselves, 1 and 3, what do they have in common? Well, 1 is the only thing they can both be divided by. And if you notice, both of them have a's. This one has a squared, this one has a. So the most a's that we can take out of this is just 1. So 1a comes out. All right, so 1 divided by 1 is 1. A squared divided by a, that would leave us still with 1a. -3 divided by 1 is -3, and these a's actually cancel out, so we don't worry about those. Then if you remember from grouping, we put a blank, and we, rewrite our 1a minus 3. Okay, so now we have to decide, well, what do we put here? What times 1a will give me -4a? Well, -4. -4 times 1a would give me -4a. -4 times -3 would give me +12. So now we're ready to put together our answer. So I'm going to put these outside pieces together. 1a minus 4. And then I'm going to put this piece here, 1a minus 3. And there's my factored form. And there we go. So let's do another example. So let's do number 4. So again, I wrote the diamond piece up here just so we remember it. So I'm going to start with that. So A is going to be 1 because there's no number in front. B is going to be 8, and C is going to be that 15. All right, so then A times C goes at the top according to our diamond. So 1 times 15 is 15. And then on the bottom we need B, which is 8. All right, so now I'm going to take our factor sheet again, and we are looking for numbers that multiply to 15, but we're adding together to get 8. So before I do that, I guess we should talk about when they're both positive, what do we know about our 2 factors? Hopefully we remember that they both need to be positive. So now going back to this, 15, I have 1 and 15. So 1 and 15, if I add those together, that would give me 16. That's not right, I want 8. So what's left is 3 and 5, which does give me 8. So then I know my 2 factors are 3 and 5. Okay, so I bring my first piece down, this a squared, 1a squared. All right, and then I have a blank, and then I have plus 15. Now, in those two blanks, I know that I need a plus 3 and a plus 5, but I also need the variables, so a and a. All right, so now it's a grouping problem. So 1a and 3a can only be divided by 1. A squared and a, they both have a in common, so 1a goes on the outside. 1 divided by 1 is 1. A squared divided by a leaves me with 1a. 3a divided by 1a, the a's would cancel, so 3 divided by 1 would be positive 3. So I rewrite that, 1a plus 3. So in this blank, I need something that multiplies to 1a to give me 5a, which would be positive 5. Because positive 5 times 1a would be 5a, positive 5 times 3 would be 15. So put my outside pieces together again, 1a plus 5, and then one of the parentheses, 1a plus 3. And there is my factored answer. All right, so let's do a little bit tougher of an example, one that isn't just a is 1. So here we have a being 7, b being negative 20, and c being negative 3. So I'm going to start once again with that diamond. So at the top I need a times c, 7 times negative 3, which is negative 21. On the bottom, I have b, which is negative 20. So if you remember those quick tips that I gave you last time, when you're multiplying to a negative number, we know one of them needs to be positive, one of them needs to be negative. Since we're trying to add to a negative number, that means my bigger number needs to be negative. So let's look at 21. So 21 is here in green. So we're trying to add to 20 with one of them being positive, one of them being negative. So 1 and 21, so let's say the 1 is negative. Negative 1 plus 21 would be positive 20. So let's do the opposite. 1 and negative 21, that would give us negative 20, which is what we're looking for. So positive 1, negative 21. That would give us negative 20, but multiplied still gives us 21. So let's make this into a grouping problem. So this time, I'm going to bring down 7x squared. And then a blank, and a blank, and then negative 3. So I realize that these are a lot of work, which is why you guys won't have as many homework problems on this, but please, please, please make sure that you are showing all that work. All right, so in these blanks, I need to put my plus 1 and my negative 21, but I also need the variable, which here is x. Okay, now it's a grouping problem. So 7x squared and 1x. Well, 7 and 1, the only number they have in common is 1, which seems to occur a lot, but we'll do an example where it isn't going to be divided by 1. And then x squared and x, we know they have an x in common. So 1x is what's taken out. So 7 divided by 1 is 7. X squared divided by x, that leaves us with 1x left over. 1 divided by 1 is a positive 1. These x's cancel out. Now again, I know these 1's cancel out, but 1 divided by 1 is 1, not 0. So make sure you are paying attention to that. So I'm going to rewrite 7x plus 1 Okay. So I'm trying to multiply to negative 21, and I have a 7. So I know I need a negative, hopefully you're thinking, 3. So my factored answer, taking these parts, these outside parts, 1x minus 3, and one of the parentheses, 7x plus 1. All right, now let's do one more example. So let's just go ahead and do number 8. So starting off with our diamond, we have A, we have B, and we have C. So A times C goes at the top, so 7 times 10 is 70. On the bottom we have B. So on the bottom we have negative 19 for B. So when we are multiplying to a positive but adding to a negative, that means we need 2 negatives. So we are looking for 70. So here is 70, and we're trying to add to 19. So 1 and 70. If they're both negative, that would make negative 71. Negative 2 and negative 35 would make negative 37. So that's not what we want. Negative 5 and negative 14, that would make negative 19. So 5 and 14 is what we want. So since 14 is bigger, I'm just going to write 14 first, and then 5. Again, doesn't matter which one you write first. So I'm going to bring down 7n squared, blank, blank, and in that last part, I'm going to put plus 10. So my 2 blanks, I need to do negative 14n, since n is my variable, and negative 5n. Okay, so now we're ready to group. So most of our other examples, we've had 1 be here, but that's not the case with this problem because 7 and 14 have something besides 1 in common. They actually have 7 in common. And since they both have n's, we're going to take out 7n. So don't just assume that the number out here is always going to be 1, because it's not, as this example showed us. So 7 divided by 7 is 1, and then n squared divided by n, that left me with that n. All right, negative 14n divided by 7n, well, those n's cancel, so negative 14 divided by 7 is negative 2. So then I have my blank, and then 1n minus 2. All right, so this time I'm trying to multiply to negative 5n. So what times 1n would give me negative 5n? Negative 5. Because negative 5 times 1n would give me negative 5n. Negative 5 times negative 2 would end up with a positive 10. So now our factored answer is the outside piece, 7n, and the negative 5. Put those together. And then 1n minus 2. There we go. There's our answer. So again, I realize that these do take a little bit more time, so that's why your assignments are a little bit shorter this week. But again, I ask you to show all of this work because it is important that I see that you're understanding this process. So if you are a little bit lost, that's okay. Just shoot me an email of anything that you're still kind of confused about, or we can also schedule a Zoom meeting and I can explain it to you that way. But give it a try, see how it goes, and let me know if you need any extra help. And good luck. Have a good week.